Hello folks, this is Ringo Sky, and No Man's Sky The Swarm just dropped 4 days ago as of recording, so I thought it'd be a good time to go through every year and pick out the best expedition from each year. In order for an expedition to be considered top tier, it has to meet 3 requirements. It has to have good, interesting, non-repetitive gameplay, it has to have good rewards, and it has to have a good and engaging storyline. The Expeditions game mode has been around since 2021, and there have been a lot of bangers. And if this video gets 10 likes, I will rank the worst expedition from every year, so make sure to smash that like button. It really helps push this video out to the algorithm. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And as the best expedition from 2021, we have got the Emergence Expedition. In my opinion, this was the expedition that saved the Expeditions game mode. There was Pioneers, which was terrible except for the rewards. It probably had the best rewards. And then there was Beachhead, which was pretty mid except for the Normandy at the end. And then there was Cartographers, which I'd also consider like a B tier, very mid expedition. And then we have Emergence, which blew every single expedition that came before it out of the water. It was amazing. It followed a story of Titan worms corrupting and slowly taking over the universe. Had that archive bypass ship that allowed you to access the forbidden data. Then you'd eventually confront the Atlas to tell it about this corruption that's been spreading across the galaxy, and then you'd find out that they're actually like the Atlas's veins or something like that, and then you'd get one of them as your pet. I mean, how cool is that? With the plethora of mid-expeditions from 2021, it was probably the easiest pick on this list to put Emergence at the number 1 spot for the expeditions of 2021. Coming up next, the winner for 2022, and what most people would consider the best expedition of all time, we have Leviathan. This is easily the most controversial expedition because you either love it or hate it. There is no in between when it comes to Leviathan. Most expeditions are low-key and chill, but not Leviathan. I'm betting one Hello Games employee was like, the game is too boring, and then decided to throw probably the craziest gameplay experience of No Man's Sky, where it was permadeath. If you died, everything would reset, and now that's actually an official game mode of No Man's Sky. Every milestone, every planet was just a complete death trap. There were even some milestones where the requirements to complete the milestone was just for you to die. Eventually you'd meet the space whale that's been controlling this loop, and the expedition would just cease to be permadeath. You'd recruit the Leviathan, the living frigate that's been controlling the loop, and it'd join your fleet, and the expedition would just cease to be permadeath. Some people loved it, some people hated it, but most consider it to be the best expedition of all time. And even if you loved it, it'd probably be at least in the top 3. But now we've got to move on to the best expedition from 2023, which was Singularity. This is all around a great expedition, probably within my top 3. It heavily focused on the autophage, which, if you didn't know, if you're new to my channel, I actually play as an autophage. It also had the heaviest storyline ties of any expedition and focused on the autophage and the abyss. And also, most of the expedition was actually added to the main game. The construct from the expedition is permanently in the anomaly, and if you didn't play the expedition, part of the expedition was actually carried over into the They Who Returned quest line, and it actually displayed that you fully completed Expedition 10 if you completed the They Who Returned quest line. It had a great story, great rewards, great gameplay, and the choices you made during that expedition actually had an impact on your rewards. Or you could just play the Redux and get both rewards. Overall, a really great expedition. Winning it out for 2024, we have Expedition 16, very important number in No Man's Sky, The Curse. This definitely had the most unique and never seen before gameplay of any expedition. The sky was constantly switching between night and day, and the boundaries between realities was breaking, so all sorts of stuff would appear. You'd have these constant hallucinations and creepy voices all the time. That would be kind of annoying if you'd never played the storyline, because they constantly referenced key storyline characters like Artemis and Apollo, and a new player would be like, what the heck does this mean? You also had to recharge your hazard protection, which is actually your anomaly protection, with, I think, Elixir of Blood. There was also this boundary stabilizing item that you could collect that sealed the boundaries when you placed it down, so the sky would stop spinning and that sort of stuff. Who would want the sky to stop spinning though? That's super cool, but there's a bunch of enemies, so I suppose it was useful. And the rewards were pretty good. We got the Millennium Falcon, or at least No Man's Sky's version of it. And overall, this is undoubtedly just a top 5 expedition. It's an absolute masterpiece. And now we're moving on to 2025 with No Man's Sky Breach taking the crown. 25 literally just had B-tier expedition after B-tier expedition. Probably the worst year for expeditions, but in my opinion, Breach is at least A tier. You'll know that this is basically Adrift 2.0 with the same abandoned universe mechanic, but it did involve this lost Corvette called the Fireship Arcadia, very cool name, and it was pretty fun to play. There was one thing, the story was absolutely everywhere. You're collecting polished stone, and then you're killing the squid, and then you're going back to the Starship Arcadia. It was just everywhere. But honestly, it was pretty good. I can only think of one person who doesn't like it, and that is Kanaju, but he kinda finished it with 20 minutes to spare. So yeah, that's kind of his fault. So overall, pretty solid and pretty good expedition. And now moving on to the big 2.6, we have got No Man's Sky, The Swarm. I haven't finished it yet. We're still working through the community milestones, so please help us out so we can finish this. But already, it is way better than the other option, which is Remnant. It has an awesome story and awesome gameplay. Story stays consistent throughout the entire expedition so far. You're fighting the Swarm, and the Traveler's Soul is fragmented, splitting you into 3 teams. So each player can either be a Royal, a Sage, or a Weaver. And you're fighting against the Swarm and the Hive of Glass. So that's the big Death Star kind of thing that blew up at Atlas Station with its turbo laser, I guess. Of course, I have to mention the elephant in the room here, the absolutely peak Phase 2 gameplay. Phase 2 got off to a pretty good start with you talking to Polo and whatnot. And then you go to this Atlas station and tell it about the Hive of Glass. And then once you exit it, the Hive of Glass is here and is absolutely obliterating you, and you're doing 0 damage, and you're watching the Atlas integrity fall. Then the milestone instructions say, face the Atlas, face the inevitable. And then the Atlas station gets blown to smithereens, and then you're staring at a white screen for about 30 seconds. And then you face the same personality quiz that you did when you first started the expedition that determined your team. And then it said, like, you are still on your same team even if you did answer different questions. And you got teleported to this random planet, and somebody managed to build a McDonald's base for a jump scare there. And then you stayed on there for about 5 seconds, and then it showed the animation that it shows when you're warping through a portal, and then you came out on the planet. And then it said you escaped, and then you got a milestone saying talk to Polo about the world of glass. Guys, we finally got to travel to the dimension of glass. I mean, that wasn't exactly the best way they could have introduced the dimension of glass. That's not like who wants a white screen to introduce you to a dimension, but like that was just amazing. I got so hyped when I saw that. And there you have it, folks. The best expedition from every year. We have come so far since the days of Pioneer and Beachhead. It's just amazing how much improvement the game has seen. Like, I don't think the Hello Games employees understand that everybody has forgiven them. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We've only got 13 subscribers right now, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night.